Poop scoop diddy whoop. Poopity doo. Now this video is gonna be about poop. Let's go. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, as you can see, if you watch my videos, I finally got a table. It took a long time because I'm really picky, but I went to a yard sale. This was his childhood table that he used to eat on when he was a little kid. He was probably in his 80s, so the table's at least 100 years old. And I also, at the yard sale, another one down the street, bought this heater. So I finally have heat. But anyway, this video is about the composting setup I just did. Before I set it up, I was really overwhelmed by all the different options for, just having a bathroom. Did I want a composting toilet? Did I want one of those like incinerator toilets where you just like light it up with propane? Did I want to do a septic? And I decided on essentially what I think is probably the simplest and most elegant solution. You can do this really, really cheaply, and a lot of the things that I was worried about, like odors, haven't been an issue at all. So I'll go over a couple things with the composting toilet, what exactly it is if you're not familiar. When you think about, a normal toilet, you're going into water and that's getting sucked away somewhere else. And then they then have to remove that waste from the water and then treat that water. And it's a pretty terrible system when you really think about how much fresh drinking water is wasted. And with a composting toilet is a dry toilet, so there is no water involved. So what I did for the composting, and there's a couple different options, is that I took these pine pellets to where I make a bed of pellets in literally a 5-gallon bucket that I got from Lowe's. And you go on top of that, then cover it again with pine pellets, just do your business, and then you have an off-site little bin that you put all that waste in, and then once you fill that bin up, you just write the date on it, and then in a year or two, it should turn into great manure, human manure, that you could, in theory, use on plants or anything you want. I just have like a little galvanized metal bin that I'm putting everything in. I have it solidly attached to a pallet so that animals can't tip it over. If I have any issues with animals messing with it, I can even, put a couple sheet metal screws in the top so there's no way anything could get into it. I was about to go for the plastic because it was cheaper. Then I thought of how, some animals, maybe like raccoons, could bite through it, but I don't think anything's gonna get through the galvanized metal bin.
Once my 5-gallon bucket in the outhouse fills up, I need somewhere to put that waste. So here I have a little galvanized metal bin, and I'm gonna attach it to this pallet so no animals knock it over. To prevent any waste leakage, I took off the little gaskets on the sheet metal screws and then put them on these wood screws because the sheet metal screws just weren't long enough to attach the bin to the pallet. Before adding any waste, I just put a nice layer of the pine pellets on the bottom of it, and then I added the waste.
But what I love about this so much is that, nothing is just disappearing. A lot of your stuff, you get your trash picked up and it ends up in some landfill, and you don't really know the whole cycle of its life and like what, the repercussions of that is. With a composting toilet on your property, you know exactly where your poop's going, and you can just keep it on your land indefinitely and use it for other things. Do you separate the urine from the solid waste? I bought a urine diverter. Find these on Etsy. I think the company was Johnny Compost. And I am separating because smell is something that I really want to just minimize. And I know some people say it's not a big deal, but for me, especially being a guy, I usually just go number one outside anyway.
Oh, snow angel! Yes, here he is! He is here! He is here! He's so cool! I love you so much! Yeah.
You like snow? So pretty simple. That's where you attach the clear vinyl tubing, which I had to get 10 feet. I didn't need 10 feet, the 3/4. And I think it was this was the most expensive part. I think that was like $30. So if you can get a shorter piece online, I would definitely do that. That's all I could get at Lowe's. So yeah, this just simply snaps on to the inside of the bucket. And then yeah, so like when you're going number 2, number 1, and then I'm gonna run the tube to something that'll fit in here. Probably this water jug work just fine. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to cut a hole for the tubing to run it out to this. And that just went right on. It's on there pretty tight. I'm not worried about any kind of like locker cinch on it or anything like that. Okay, yeah, I thought this was going to be the most simple job in the world, but with the rigidity of this vinyl tubing, which I do not recommend, there's got to be another option, maybe something like stretchy, flexy. Yeah, I've got a basic little setup to where the urine diverter's here. I cut the hole, and because I just wanted it to be gravity fed, didn't want to get stuck up, I just cut a hole in the side. It works. So with the composting toilet, all the work is done by tiny microorganisms that are going to be breaking down that waste. And I've had some people comment on videos that why don't I just use sand or dirt mixed in? You definitely want to use an organic compound with your waste so that it can all break down and turn into a really nice soil. And yeah, I know there's a lot of different composting toilets on the market. I've seen some composting toilets as much as like over $1,000. I haven't really looked into it too much. I just glazed over because it was something completely out of my budget. I'm sure there's probably some pretty cool benefits for those, but like if anyone's like kind of thinking they need to spend that money, you really don't. I'm literally using a 5-gallon bucket, and I kind of made it nice, made a little box for it with the urine diverter. Like it's really all you need. And I'm sure I'm gonna learn a lot as I go. And another thing is that this is winter time in the Sonoran Desert. When it starts to become 100 and 110 degrees, maybe I will start to have some issues with smell and things like that. But honestly, I'm not too worried about it because I really think the pine pellets are definitely the way to go. I know everyone says like use sawdust, but you know, my brother had been using these pine pellets for his cat's litter box. And I'm like, if it works for his cat, why can't it work for my human litter box? So yeah, this is the video. Hope this is helpful for someone, because I know I had a million questions and there seemed like a million different ways to do it. And this is just one simple way that I chose to go. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one. All right. Got the pump sink, filling up the Camelback. Oh yeah, what view. All right. Oh, that's a steep hill.